Good evening and welcome. Tonight we are going to talk about the Empath's Toolbox. My name is Arielle Sterling. You can find more information about me on my website, ariellesterling.com. This evening we are going to talk about what it means to be empathic and being an empath and tools that you can use in your everyday life in order to live your best life with the gifts and superpowers that you have. So this class is interactive. I will invite you to talk and ask questions and make comments and tell stories. And for the next hour, we will be, again, talking about the tools that we have at our disposal to help us with our day-to-day interactions. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to go ahead and start with a meditation this evening. This is a meditation from my book, Shift Happens, 21 Days to Better Energy Through the Chakras, available on Amazon. I invite you to go ahead and find a comfortable position. Oh, and looks like we have a new friend joining us. Hi Seth, thanks for joining us. We were just about to start a chakra meditation. Okay, so if everybody wants to go ahead and mute themselves, thank you. Awesome. Go ahead and find a comfortable position for yourself, either seated or laying down. Don't allow yourself to become too relaxed this evening. This meditation is just designed to bring awareness to your body. Once you have found yourself in a comfortable position, allow yourself to feel support beneath you, whether you're sitting in a chair, on the floor, on the couch. Realize that you're supported by whatever's beneath you. Connect with the ground below you and allow it to support your body entirely. Go ahead and take a deep breath in, relaxing into your body. Exhale and allow your mind to soften. Notice the sounds around you, allowing them to float through your space without distraction. I'll ask that you gently bring your awareness to the light and the shade that surrounds you. Feel the air dancing on the surface of your skin. Feel the sky above you and the earth below you supporting you. Give your mind permission to release what is not serving your highest and best good at this time. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, release anything that is not yours. Draw your energy back into center, grounding yourself in this very moment. Slowly start to sense the space around you. With each rise and fall of your breath, become aware of its coming and going, the sensation as it passes between your lips, the sound that it makes, and the natural warmth you exude. Take a deep breath in, drawing energy down to where your spine meets your tailbone at your root chakra. Go ahead and breathe into your root. Let it soften and gently expand on your breath, taking in nourishment and life force energy. Allow your root to connect deeply into the earth, grounding yourself into her energy. Envision the color red bathing your root chakra, bringing it back into perfection. Allow any denseness or heaviness that's sitting in that root chakra at the base of your spine to slowly dissipate. Remember, the root chakra is the base of all of the chakras. So if the root chakra isn't balanced, the other chakras have a hard time remaining balanced as well. When that chakra feels open and you feel it operating at the proper frequency for you, allow your awareness to move up to your belly, just below your navel, to your sacral chakra. Breathe into your sacral, gently softening your body with each breath, taking in nourishment and life force energy. Envision the color orange enveloping your sacral chakra, bringing it back into perfection. When you are ready, move your awareness up to the area between your navel, below your breastbone, to your solar plexus, your chakra of personal power. Take a deep breath in, allowing your solar plexus to soften and expand on your breath. Purify your solar plexus with the color of sunshine, replenishing, restoring, and nurturing. Envision the color yellow, color of sunshine, bathing your solar plexus, bringing it back to perfection. Go ahead and bring your awareness up to the center of your chest, into your heart chakra, the chakra of unconditional love. Gently breathe into your heart space, letting it soften and expand with each breath. Immerse your heart with nourishment, renewal, and healing. Envision your heart chakra being bathed first in green healing light and then enveloped in the soft pink light of unconditional love, bringing this chakra back into perfection. Let's take another big deep breath in on the heart chakra. Feel it expanding. There are possibilities alive that were not there yesterday, and tomorrow there will be even more possibilities. Allow your heart chakra to feel absolutely everything. With the pain comes expansion, comes opening for new space, new energy. Let's go ahead and bring your awareness up to your throat chakra, the center of self-expression and personal truth. Take a deep breath in, feeling your throat chakra open and expand with each breath. Let yourself release the need for control and allow yourself to feel completely free using self-expression and creativity. Envision the color blue bathing your throat chakra, bringing it back into perfection. When our throat chakra is open and operating at the proper frequency, we speak our truth. We do not fear saying what we need, speaking our wants, desires, and ultimately what we need. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Let's go ahead and bring your awareness up to the brow area, to your third eye chakra, the center of wisdom and intuition. Take a deep, cleansing breath in, feeling the chakra open and expanding, allowing yourself to find clarity, insight, and understanding. Bathe your third eye chakra in the color indigo, soothing and balancing, allowing it to come back into perfection. As you are ready, move your awareness up to the top of your head to your crown chakra, the connection to oneness. Let's take a deep breath in, feeling the chakra open and expand, allowing light to pour into your head, allowing harmony, restoration to take place. See that pure white light entering your crown chakra, bathing you in divine energy, bringing the chakra back into perfection. When you are ready, come back to yourself as a whole. You can start by acknowledging the ebb and flow of your breath. Breathe into your core. Remember you are perfect, whole and complete just as you are. I invite you to come back to consciousness, slowly wiggling your fingers and toes, feeling the air on your skin, noticing the sounds around you, consciously feeling your body. I want you to remember to thank yourself for taking the time to honor your body. And so it is. So I only have 2 of you guys on camera, but you guys can take off your mutes. Unless Seth has a camera and he's just holding out on us. I know Brenda has a camera, because we saw her earlier, because we saw her puppy.
No, hold on. I really did. There.
Hey, you're back. Cool. At least I have, more than just half a Stacy and half a Ryan there. I mean, I guess you make a whole groover there, but,
Yes.
Yeah. See, Ryan appreciates making that. That's good.
Yeah.
So, how are you guys feeling? Feeling good?
Feeling good, yes.
Good.
Feeling good.
Awesome. So that was the meditation from my book with a little, added guide on, as it were. But that's actually also available on my website as a free download if you guys enjoyed that. But we're going to talk about empaths and what does it mean to be an empath. So what do you guys know about being an empath? What comes up when I say, what is an empath?
Well, the nerdy side for me reminds me of Star Trek, to be honest.
Yes, tell me about it.
That is the empaths, that is from Next Generation. I'm thinking of Deanna and Waxana Troy, where they were the Betazoids, and they were able to feel emotions coming from people, and they were physically affected by it, and they strongly. It was,
yes.
So that's what it reminds me of.
Okay, so that's literally it. Thank you, Star Trek. Seriously. So whatever that is, can you find me a link for that? Because I need to see that, because that'll be fun and interesting.
I'm sure I can find you a couple episodes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, because I know nothing about Star Trek. But That's exactly what it is. When you are an empath, you feel things so deeply, it affects everything that is going on in your life.
Okay.
Right? So an empath is somebody who has the natural ability to understand the emotional, mental, or physical state of another person or animal. Sometimes we forget about that. Animals have feelings too. I can't go to the zoo anymore, actually, because I can feel the animals' discomfort and distaste for their present situation. So it's not pleasant to be around caged animals sometimes, when you can feel their animosity towards the cages and the environment that they're in. So it's kind of interesting sometimes. Somebody who easily senses, feels, or reads the energy surrounding them. And the other thing about being an empath is you either are or you aren't. This isn't a learned thing. This is something you're born with. This is oftentimes something that as a child you may have been told you feel too much, you're too sensitive, that was just a joke, I was just kidding, why are you being, why are you so upset? My parents still tell me that, to be honest with you. It's an innate quality. It's something, again, that you can't learn. It's not a learned quality, but there's certainly different degrees of empathicness, I feel. But depending on what you're doing and how you're reacting to your situations around you and the things that you're being asked to deal with, you can very easily use it as a superpower. I really feel. I talk a lot with people in my online coaching group who have jobs who require them to be very sensitive with people. I have clients who are social workers. I have clients who are EMTs, flight EMTs, and these people feel very deeply. And, we talk about the fact that it's a superpower, right? We have to use these wonderful tools that we're given, these things that our body comes with, that, again, we're born into, can't do anything about it besides learn how to deal with it, right? So that's why we're here. So, thanks for joining. Something that I think is really important to talk about when we talk about being empathic is knowing yourself, right? So knowing what feels good to you, right? So boundaries, what feels good to you in terms of situations you want to put yourself in. If you don't like, as an empath, it can be difficult to go into crowded stores, busy malls, Costco, right? That shit's stressful. Like, that's no joke. So being conscientious of how you're choosing to let yourself be exposed, right? So things we can do that are within our control. So know what your needs are and know what your triggers are, right? So if you are the kind of person who does not like a lot of people, you probably shouldn't be shopping at Costco on Saturday or Sunday, right? You should probably look at a planner and think about when you have time to do this that is not in that time frame, right? So it's about working with the tools and the knowledge that you have and being honest with yourself, right? I think that's part of it too. Honest enough to say, okay, this isn't going to work for me, right? This may work for me, but this may not work for me. I've gone out to a lot of restaurants this week, and I've experienced a lot of different restaurant settings in terms of noise and smell and atmosphere. So there's been a couple times where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Thank you. I need to step outside, right? So knowing what your boundaries are is so important as an empath. And not ignoring them, right? Nobody gets to tell you how you feel. Nobody has that right. Nobody has that capacity. Nobody is inside here. They don't know the whole situation, right? They may see what they see from their perspective, and they may have an understanding, but it is your right to feel what you are feeling, and only you know what you need. So especially as an empath, it is so important to actually honor that, right? I think sometimes we are so busy taking care of other people, especially as empaths. People come to us because they know instinctively, right, without saying, that we feel differently. We care more, right? We have a bigger capacity to love. People feel that. So oftentimes empaths find themselves in situations where they're taking care of people, whether it's other family, friends, relationships, right? I'm sure you've all experienced this, where you're like, this is not even. This is not. We are not doing a fair assessment here. So it's important to understand what feels good to you and what doesn't. The other thing that's important, how are you recharging? How are you choosing to refill your cup, right? Because we can't pour from an empty cup. You've all heard that before. But how do we refill, right? Some people need to be at home by themselves with their dog, or their cat, or their goldfish, what have you, right? Some people recharge by being out with others. That's not me, so I don't necessarily understand that, but I do happen to know empaths who do recharge by going out, and they enjoy that, and that fills them back up, right? So it's about finding what works for you, and just because it works for one person doesn't mean it works for the other. So even in a relationship, one person may need one thing and the other person the complete opposite, and that's okay, right? Because you're two different people, right? You're not two halves to a whole. You are two completely different, right? Awesome. Something that I talk so much about is the idea of being proactive versus reactive, right? And that's kind of what I started talking about a few minutes ago with the Costco idea. The idea of being proactive so that we are doing things intentionally, right? We talked about that a lot, doing things with intention, doing things that we are able to benefit from, right? And not just react and say, oh, this is happening, right? So proactive versus reactive, taking care of yourself when you're an empath looks a little different. So, for some of us, that looks like, maybe going to the grocery store at off hours, early in the morning, late at night when there's not a lot of people, so there's not a lot of craziness. Same thing if you have to go to Walmart, right? There's 24-hour Walmarts. If you feel like you need to go and get stuff, right, that could help at 3 in the morning if you're up and feel the need to do that, right? But using the resources that we have appropriately is going to help us the most. So I want you guys to start thinking about how you can be proactive in your life versus reactive. And the nice thing with the reactive things is the reactive things show us what our triggers are, right? So if you can, think back and say, okay, I had a really tough time when I went into myself, for example. I was in a restaurant last night, and there was a lot of smoke. They had an open grill and it was smoky. It smelled like they were blowing out candles everywhere. There was no candles, but it was just smoke everywhere. So I started getting a little claustrophobic, a little just, anxious because I was having trouble breathing. Maslow's hierarchy, if you can't breathe, if you're not safe, you kind of get panicky, right? You have to be aware of what your triggers are. So knowing that, I do prefer, not going to restaurants that are super smoky, right? Or super loud. That was another thing. Acoustics in places are very interesting as an empath. I think we perceive things in a much different way, so we internalize them and we almost feel them physically, right? So for myself, things, I don't like the sound of vacuum cleaners, the sound of the garbage disposal. Loud noises are not good for me. They're very jarring. Also, when people speak very loudly. I had to tell my mom to use her indoor voice because she was shouting and she was 2 feet away from me. It's shh, indoor voice. Right? We have to, acknowledge these things. And sometimes people just aren't aware that they're, acting in such a manner that can be detrimental sometimes. But again, knowing what your triggers are is one of the most helpful and productive things that we can do. So, nothing is bad, right? Everything is a lesson. So no matter where we're at, we just kind of have to take a step back and see what we can learn. about ourselves from any given situation, especially being an empath. You guys are quiet. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. Do you guys have questions? Am I just like ramble? I know I'm rambling, but do you guys have questions about anything that I have talked about so far?
Nothing here, but I agree with the whole grocery store thing. I don't like going into grocery stores when they are overly crowded and just feel, I guess it's more maybe like a claustrophobic kind of feeling. You know, it's like I like being able to, you know, I like it when it's a lot quieter.
So that's awesome. That may be a good idea for you. I know your schedule's a little wonky because, you know, just because. But, you know, think about when you can, you know, schedule that in again. So it's not at a busy time, right? So it's maybe at an off hour. You know, you're not going when, you know, everybody and their mother's going to get dinner, right?
Yes, I used to, when I was single, I used to always go at about 6 in the morning. So
Totally get that. I totally get that. Yeah. So, you know, there's certain things that, you know, acknowledging that is super helpful, right? So that also may, you know, translate into other things that, you know, may click for you down the line. But that's really great awareness, Ryan.
Yeah.
Awesome. Seth, you've been super quiet. I'm going to pick on you.
Sorry, I'm trying to budget my dog going nuts right now. She doesn't like meditations. More or less, she's like playtime when I meditate. So
because she feels
she's
the
going
energy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Brenda, any awarenesses for you so far?
Yeah, I don't like crowded places. And if I do have to go, it's like, okay, let's get in and out because I don't want to waste 10 minutes.
Right, so that's the other thing too, having a game plan, right? Because that's the thing. We have to live in this world, right? We can't just avoid it. It doesn't work like that. So we have to find ways to make things work for us. And that's a lot of why I wanted to do this tonight and talk to you guys, because there are things that we can do to help us. But again, recognizing those triggers and recognizing what we really need is so important, because once we recognize that, we can do something about it, right? So that way we don't have the anxiety, we don't have, you know, the stress over it. So we're going to talk about some tools. Yay! Okay. So we are first going to talk about the toolbox from my book, Shift Happens. And the first thing that we talk about is food and the importance of eating properly. So when you're an empath, you not only feel everything that goes on around you, but you also have a deeper connection with your body. So the foods that you put into your body are that much more important because you feel things at a much deeper level. So when you put in food to your body that it has a hard time processing, so things, foods that are processed, right? Foods that have chemicals, Stacy's Diet Coke, right? Anything that goes into the body that is not natural, the body doesn't innately know how to process, right? So the more natural foods we can eat, the more whole, fresh, healthy foods that we can put into our body, the better. So that way our body is not struggling to fight through these foods, right? So when we're not struggling, when we're not putting additional stress on the body, it allows us to feel on a much deeper level, right? So we're not, you know, stuck with a stomach ache from, you know, eating too many French fries and cheeseburgers. Or we're not getting rashes from eating gluten and things we shouldn't be eating, right? These are physical signs that our body's like, what are you doing to me, right? Why are we going through this? You know better, right? So when your body's talking to you, you have to listen to it, right? It's a symbiotic relationship. You need your body, right? You can't be here without your body. So we need to learn to love our bodies, and we need to learn to nourish it with the food that we're putting in it. Something that I honestly, I try and do this every day with everything that I'm eating. Ask myself, before I put something in my mouth, how is this nourishing to my body? Granted, I'll be honest, I had a hot dog and cheese fries for lunch. That was not necessarily nourishing to my body. I mean, I could sit here and make an excuse and say, I had a pickle, that's a cucumber, right? And, there was, the gluten-free bun, right? And potatoes for fries. No, right? Not every day is perfect, right? But we have to acknowledge these things. Do I feel bad today about doing that? No. Do I feel better on days that I've, eaten fruit for breakfast and, healthy things for lunch? Yeah, sure. But, it's a scale, right? It's kind of a package deal. It's not just one little thing. It's a combination of things that we can do to help ourselves feel better. So when our body's not fighting through food, we're able to think clearer and feel better, right? So we have to stop fighting our bodies. That's a big, big part of it too. The thing that goes along with that is water and hydration. If you guys have a glass of water, go ahead and take a sip, because I've been talking for 31 minutes now and I haven't said anything. But really, water, hydration, so important. If you are already thirsty, your body is 1 to 2% dehydrated. Okay? 1 to 2% dehydration can create similar effects as being drunk. You don't want to do that to your body. Okay? You need to be giving your body what it needs to survive. And guess what? It needs a lot of water. Because everything in you needs water. Every single organ needs water to function. So, think about that. If everything in your body needs water to function, and you are giving it baseline water, what is your body functioning on? Diet Coke? I'm talking to you, Stacey.
Yeah.
I know. But that's why water's so important. So, especially as an empath, when you feel things, right, you need to be feeling things. And lack of water doesn't allow movement throughout the body, right? I've worked with the majority of you, and I tell you on a regular basis when we are doing energy work, when we are doing life coaching, you need to be drinking water. You need to keep hydrated because things need to move within you, right? Water helps to move things through. Water helps that energy. As Nathan's mom educated me, it is best to drink water so you are not thirsty, right? So what we mean by that is drink until your body is no longer thirsty. And keep doing that throughout the day, right? Because that ensures that the water is flushing through your body completely and each organ is getting exactly what it needs. Moving on from water to our next tool, salt baths. Again, those of you who have worked with me before, we love our salt baths, don't we? So salt baths help to clear the energy around our auric field. They also help to remove toxins within the body. So there's a number of benefits that we have from salt baths that we don't necessarily talk about. Depends on, what you're putting in your salt bath, but things like baking powder baking soda. Actually, adding baking soda into the salt bath helps to boost the auric cleaning. You guys know I love my pink Himalayan sea salt, even though it turns the bathtub pink. Love my pink Himalayan sea salt because it mimics the property of amniotic fluid. It's one of the most soft and soothing experiences you will ever have. If you have not tried it, I highly recommend it. It just feels amazing, and it also has 72 minerals in the pink Himalayan sea salt, whereas something like Epsom salt is 2 minerals. It's a magnesium calcium compound. That's what your Epsom salt is. The pink Himalayan sea salt again has 72 different components. Again, I talk about that in Shift Happens as well, including trace elements of platinum, silver, and gold. I always love that. So, really treating yourself like royalty. But, if you've ever done it, that's why the water's so smooth and so soft. But salt baths do help to clear out the body's toxins as well. So you're working on a lot of different levels. And I think it's important as an empath to understand that because you do pick up on things, you do have to clean your energy out, right? It's, you clean your body, right? Soap, water, shower gel, whatever. But you have to clean your energy field too, because you're picking up on things, right? Kind of like slime, right? I know that sounds weird, but I was with kids yesterday, they were playing with slime, and I was just thinking about how gross that it was that, crumbs and all this stuff could get in there, but that's like your energy, right? You have to clean it out. If you're walking around, you're, interacting with other people, other energies, animals, you're picking up on all of their stuff, so it's important as an empath to be able to clear your own energy as well. So salt baths are probably one of my absolute favorite tools. Anytime that I work conferences, anytime that I have heavy sessions, I always take a salt bath because that helps me feel better. And it helps me sleep too. Those of you who have trouble falling asleep at night, a salt bath can really do wonders. It'll knock you out if you let it. Another great tool are showers. Again, the water is very cleansing. You can use the shower almost as a meditation. Envision all of your stress and worries being washed away and fading down the drain. So really think about how you can use water in a beneficial way. I think as empaths, it's important that we use nature to the best of our ability, right? So to use, water, baths, showers, cleansing in terms of, seeing the beach. That's very cleansing for some people. You'll hear them say the beach is my happy place, right? People who like fishing, right? I don't know that they necessarily get it, but they're going to the water, right? They're going for that clearing. Going back to the elements, we talk about fire. I talk about burning a lot, writing things down and burning them. That also, it can, rings true with the nature aspect and allows us to connect in a different way, releasing energy. It's kind of interesting, earth, grounding, connecting with nature, going and just sitting in the grass, hugging a tree, right? I do that. I really do. I'm totally a hippie tree hugger. And I wear that with pride. Because it's clearing, right? Connecting with Mother Earth, letting her transmute our energy, so much more powerful than us. So, again, knowing what your tools are and finding what works for you is key. I have friends who need to go sit in the grass every day. They need to put their feet on the earth. I've been living in an apartment for, a few months, and it's been challenging living up in the air. I feel ungrounded, right? I literally feel ungrounded because I'm not connected to the earth. If I don't go out every day and literally, get on the ground. So there's a lot of things that are different when you're an empath. You feel things, and you're much more aware of the energy around you and the people around you and why things happen too. It's another interesting thing. Other great tools. Oh, I was going to grab my some crystals I was going to show you guys. But crystals or gemstones are really great tools as empaths. Finding what works for you, of course, is going to be paramount, but I can suggest, of course, rose quartz for unconditional love. Those times when we are not quite feeling the love, it's nice to have a little reassurance of some rose quartz. Clear crystal quartz is also a great tool. It can help to clear any chakra. Amethyst is another great stone to use for, I find stressful times when I'm asking for forgiveness. Oftentimes it's of myself. I'm stressed out and I need a little grace. That's kind of how I associate amethyst. It's a little bit of grace. The gemstones are really helpful and can be used in a lot of different applications. Necklaces, often you'll find crystal and gemstone necklaces, bracelets. As you can see, I'm wearing lapis lazuli bracelet. Helps me with communication and speaking clearly and speaking my truth, right? Remember, that's connected with the throat chakra. I oftentimes carry crystals and gemstones in my purse with me, so I have them at all times. The energy is, of course, of the earth. They come from the earth. So it is very grounding and can help us to channel some negative or fidgety energy too. I see all these things with fidget spinners, right? That's like the whole big deal, fidget spinners now. Those are crazy little toys. Give these kids crystals. Give them crystals to hold on to. I promise they will get more out of sitting down with crystals and feeling that and checking in with that energy than they will from those fidget spinners any day. Another great tool is aromatherapy and essential oils. So using Mother Nature's scents that she's provided to us and the beautiful, plants and botany that we have given to us. Lavender is very calming. It's one of my favorite scents. Frankincense is another favorite of mine. Very calming and relaxing to me. But, then again, there are other uses for essential oils as well. They can be used to help fight infections, certainly. If you are not a fan of Western medicine, like myself, I oftentimes will use essential oils instead of reaching to go to a doctor, for a prescription or an antibiotic. A lot of times I will, self-treat. Again, once you have educated yourself, please, move forward with caution. But I have found a lot of success using essential oils and aromatherapy in various forms. Steam diffusers are one of my favorite forms of using aromatherapy. That way the entire space gets scented, if you will. Now I will caution you with essential oils. There are some that are not to be applied directly to the skin. There are certain rules that should be followed, otherwise you can have detrimental effects. I am not a person who believes in ingesting essential oils unless they are specifically food grade. I know there are some people who will talk about the benefits and all of these things of consuming essential oils, either with food or with water. I strongly caution that. Again, that is something that you do have to do a lot of research into if you feel comfortable with that. So that's one, do your research. And again, with any of these things, anything that I say, just because I say it, doesn't make it true. That's just my opinion. That's where I stand on things. And again, I always invite you to do your own research and figure out what feels best to you at your core when you check in with something. We already started talking about nature, outdoors, sunshine, connecting with Mother Earth, whether, it's taking a walk every day or, just going outside and standing in the sun for at least a minute, connecting with the earth in some way that can be so helpful. I walked to Walgreens today instead of driving. Crazy, I know, but it was a nice day out, and I didn't really have anything better to do, and it felt good, right? So little things that we can do, conscious decisions, are key. Because if we're not paying attention, things just kind of fly by, right? And then we feel like we're under attack, we're under siege. But once we start paying attention, then we start to be able to figure out what we can do so we don't have these concerns. Exercise is a great tool. Like I said, I went for a walk today. I'm not the biggest fan of sweating. You're not going to see me in like a crazy workout class, like doing that whole heated yoga situation. No, that's not me. However, finding things that work for you are important. Myself, I like doing yoga at home. I'll turn on the TV, I'll pull up YouTube, and I'll, pull up a 30-minute yoga class. That's what I'll do. That's what I found that I like. Some people like Zumba, they like dancing around. It's just important to find what you like. It doesn't necessarily, sometimes it does matter, right? I'm not going to discount exercise entirely, but it's important to move, right? I think that's where we have to start. So we have to start by moving. We have to start by finding what feels comfortable in our own energy. Because just because somebody else feels that it's helpful for them to run, for them to clear their energy, to clear their mind, doesn't mean that your body likes running, right? Doesn't mean that your feet are meant for running. All of these things we have to start to consider. Just because it's good for one person doesn't make it good for the other, right? Sound is a big thing as an empath. Like I was talking about, I don't like loud noises. I don't like loud restaurants. I don't like loud people, loud children. Don't like loud things. Again, we can't always, remove ourselves from situations, right? So we have to have tools that we can use when we are out. Something that I found helpful is to shift my focus. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed by loud noise, I'll start focusing on my breathing, right? Instead of, thinking about my ears, I'll start thinking about my breath, right? So shifting focus. So whatever you can do to shift focus is also going to be helpful for you. As as an empath. Now, I will tell you, you do feel things very deeply, so you can't always escape things, right? But finding ways to move through it is going to be helpful. Using sound in different ways. Sometimes it can be helpful to use earphones instead of watching TV, or instead of having something coming from a distance, right? Depending on what feels good to you, again, different people react in different ways. And two different kinds of headphones. Some people don't like the Apple headphones. They're the in-bud. Yeah, I see Ryan shaking his head. He's like, no. Yeah, some people don't like it actually in their head, right? Because it literally sounds like it's in your head. Some people like it on the ear because it gives it a little bit of distance, right? So these are all things that you may not have connected before, because it's like, okay, we know that there's, these little tiny things, but having the awareness, right, helps us to move forward. So if you don't like shit in your ears, right, you're not going to put yourself in positions where you need to use your Apple headphones, right? You're going to buy something else. You're going to give yourself a different opportunity, right? Just as an example, I see people driving a lot with their headphones, and it makes me a little nervous, actually, coming from adjusting insurance claims. That's a whole other story. But, versus buying, an actual speaker for their car. I mean, I know that a lot of the newer cars have, Bluetooth-enabled speakers, but you can actually buy a Bluetooth speaker to have in your car. So you're not just, listening to your cell phone's shitty quality, right? Because that's not good when you're on the highway and driving, blaring your music, and nobody can hear anything, right? So there's ways to get around it, right? There's ways to, again, be proactive. Think about how you are choosing, right, to address these situations. Meditation, oh my god, meditation is so helpful. So super duper helpful. However, not everybody does it. And that's okay, because I think a lot of people get tripped out about what they think meditation should or shouldn't be. Meditation, like I told the little ones the other day, is really just bringing your presence to now. Bringing your awareness to the present, really. We can make it this whole big thing where, we have to light an incense and get in our, lotus position and put our hands a certain way and start saying Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, and all these things. We don't have to turn it into a big production, right? It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have, your music on, your lights dimmed. You don't have to be in a special room on a cushion, right? We don't have to make it a whole big deal. We can, it's nice, it's awesome, meditation rocks. However, I think sometimes we build up all of these things because we think that it should be one way, but we're not really giving it a try, right? Because we think that it could be a certain way. Something that I do with my online coaching group is we try and do a different meditation every week, so I can expose my participants to different types of meditation so that they start to understand that meditation isn't just one thing. Probably the best example of how to describe meditation from what I've heard is meditation is like the word sports, right? Sports encompasses basketball, baseball, football, soccer, hockey, gymnastics, ice, luge. I'm just making things up now. No, luge is a sport, right? Winter Olympics, something? You guys get the point, right? Sports. A lot of sports, right? Meditation is the same way. There are so many different types of meditation, right? So it's important to find the type of meditation that works for you. So meditation can look like walking and being mindful and paying attention to your breath. Meditation can look like chanting, can be repeating a mantra or an affirmation. It can look like a lot of different things, but it's important to find what works for you. I've had a lot of success for myself using YouTube to find different meditations in times of need. When I was working a corporate job, if I needed to take a break and I only had 10 minutes and I needed a little bit of stress relief, YouTube, 10-minute stress relief meditation, bam, done, right? So utilize your tools, utilize your resources. Your breathing is really a huge, huge tool when it comes to being an empath. I think we hold our breath sometimes and we forget, and then we have to actually remind ourselves to breathe, to go through these things, especially when we're around energy that we don't like, because when we breathe, everything keeps moving, but when we stop breathing, everything stops. It's like everything freezes for a moment, right? So we need to keep breathing so we can keep feeling. So another really important tool, and I know Seth is probably going to laugh at me for this one, but it's to visualize a bubble. Visualize yourself with a bubble around you. Now, I like to use the idea of a bubble versus a shield or an armor for a couple reasons. I like that a bubble is translucent. You can still see through, right? Because we don't want to block our energy, right? That's not healthy. When we block our energy, things can't come in. The universe can't deliver the beautiful gifts that it's supposed to give us, right? So we don't want to block our energy, right? We want to put a bubble around us. So we can still see what's going on outside. We can still interact. It's a little shinier in our bubble, right? Pretty little iridescent bubble. But if you put up an energetic bubble, that allows you to have space. That allows you to breathe, right? So by visualizing yourself in a bubble when you are in a crowd, right? Or in a big space where there's a lot of people, that can help. Because that way you feel what is your actual space, right? And this can help you. There's exercises that you can do visualizing yourself in a bubble and expanding the bubble. Expanding. And this can help you start to feel and maintain your own energy in a much healthier way. Oh my gosh, you guys, 57 minutes. We are almost out of time. Other quick little things. Not my circus, not my monkeys, right? Identify what is actually yours, right? So as an empath, you're going to be feeling things from other people. But it's important to take a step back and say, is this mine? Does this actually belong to me, or is this somebody else's, right? Because if it's somebody else's, let them deal with it. It's theirs, not yours, right? So ask yourself, is this mine? Is this mine to feel? If it's not, with grace and ease, let it go. Environment. Environment is huge, huge, huge as an empath. Things that can really help. Using tools like salt lamps to help clear the energy. Be mindful of your clutter. As empaths, everything is energy. So when there's clutter, when there's junk around, it's stressful. It's frustrating. Even if we are people who are not necessarily clean to begin with, right? We still need to have things clean and organized because it's about the energy of it, right? It's all just crazy like this, and that's not healthy. But when things are neat and orderly and nice, we feel so much better. So again, that's one of those proactive versus reactive things, right? So keeping the house clean, keeping the clothes put away, keeping all of these things is going to help us so we're not reacting to an unfortunate situation, right? Oh my god, you guys, 59 seconds, or 59 minutes, and we're almost done. I got to the end of my list. Awesome. So I just want to remind you guys, I have a couple upcoming events. Starting June 5th, we are doing a 21-day chakra group. So if you are interested in learning more about your chakras and what you can do to balance them and keep them perfect, well, as perfect can be, right? And open and active and operating at the proper frequencies, please come join me. We are facilitating that through Facebook, so every single day I will be getting on Facebook Live, just in our specific little group, doing meditations, talking about your chakras, and going through the book, Shift Happens, 21 Days to Better Energy Through Your Chakras. It's going to be great. So it's only $22 for you for 21 days. Very excited for that. And then we have our next session of Release Density and Shift Your Life, which is my online group coaching, starting on July 5th. We are doing Wednesdays again, this upcoming group, although that may be subject to change. Not quite sure about that, but again, we do have the next session of Release Density and Shift Your Life starting in July, so very excited for that. I hope you guys join us. And our next monthly donation-based class will be June 14th, and we're going to talk more about mindfulness and meditation. So we talked a little bit about that tonight, but we'll expand a whole lot about that next time. So if you enjoyed this, please don't hesitate to share. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon. Remember, visit my website, ariellesterling.com, for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari.
Bye.